Welcome to Conversation 5 in Conversations with a Collector. Today we're focusing on, again, Christmas ornaments, but this particular episode has to deal with bird Christmas ornaments. As you can see by the array in front of you, that there are many varieties and kinds of birds that you can collect. I want to show you a few things about these birds and some hints on developing a good collection. And of course you're aware that there are reproductions on the market of all the Christmas ornaments. So I want to give you some clues as to how to identify a new ornament as opposed to an old one. Okay, let's start. Most of the birds, whether they're old or new, have a tail that's made out of spun glass. Frequently the tail is missing on a bird, and that does impact the value of the bird because it's sort of like a chip on a dish or a piece of china. It's a significant part of the overall structure of the piece. If it's missing, the cost should be less. Now you'll notice that the two birds that I'm pointing to have wings. This particular bird has the wings on the top like a hummingbird, as if he's flapping. This one, the wings are to the side. Both of these birds are rather unusual. If you took the wings off of this bird or off of this bird, you had basically a bird with a tail, and that's primarily the type of bird ornament that you'll find the most of. A clip-on bird or a hanging bird with a tail. I can draw your attention over here for a minute. This is a typical example of the birds that are on the market, a clip-on with a spun glass tail. Again, you don't want the tail to be missing. The two birds that I showed you here have the added feature of the spun glass wings. These are unusual, a little bit different, more expensive, as opposed to one with just a tail. Some of them that I'm especially fond of are the three that I'm showing right here. And these are a mama bird with the baby bird. And if you look at the first one, I think this is particularly sweet. You've got the mama that has a berry in its mouth, and the baby has the mouth open to receive the berry. It's a twofer. These are hard to find, and when you find these, I think you'd expect to pay in the neighborhood of $50 or $60. Another example, the crane, spun glass tail, old clip-on, mother and baby. If you were to find this one, I would think this one would be in the same price range. Mother and baby peacock. Now you'll notice the tail is here, and this frequently happens with older ornaments. The tail becomes dislodged and it falls back into the shunt of the ornament. If you just take it and pull it out a bit, the tail is there. And what you might want to do if that happens is to put a little bit of glue to hold this tail stationary. Many times if you look at an ornament and the tail is missing, if you turn the bird sideways or so, maybe the tail will come out, and therefore it's a complete ornament. These two ornaments I'd expect you to pay in the neighborhood of $75 for. Here's a variation on the typical clip-on bird. Clip-on, spun glass tail, but you'll notice the neck of the bird is in a very interesting configuration. And again, that's what you want to look for when you collect anything in particular, but bird ornaments, you want to find ones that are different, that are a little bit away from the usual. Okay, let's go to the third row. You have the crane, but again, look at the neck of the crane. It's cocked. It's sort of like an S. When I showed you the mother and baby crane, the necks were straight. Here you've got the crook neck. Again, a good feature. The bird is a little bit different in terms of kind of bird, and the way the bird is posed is different. Now these two I put on the table for a very particular reason. You'll notice that both of them have glitter on them. This one has a tail that's sort of a tinsel streamer. This one has a tail that's a feather. They're both clip-ons. This is the usual configuration of the bird of the clip-on, just straight out. This one you've got the bird with the crook neck. Both of these ornaments are new. Old ornaments, as a rule, do not have the glitter on them. Older ornaments, as a rule, would not have feathers or tinsel for a tail. They'd have the spun glass. So if you see these, just know they're new. In fact, both of these ornaments I bought at Bronner's in Frankenmuth. So, value-wise, this was probably a $20 ornament. This was probably a $10 ornament. They're great tree filler if you're filling up a whole tree with birds, but again, price should determine how you buy them. The bottom two are very rare. These are Victorian ornaments, probably turn of the century, give or take. This one, you've got the bird, woodpecker, pecking on the tree log, spun glass tail, and I like this ornament. First of all, it's rare, but I like it because it tells a story. It's the actual bird in its habitat pecking at a wood. Here you have a very old Victorian, the bird feeding the babies in the nest, and it's a clip-on. So the base of the ornament is the nest, and the bird mother is the little clip-on to it. Both of these ornaments I would expect to be, in the $100, $125 range. Okay, the two ornaments on the top are parrots and cockatiels. Again, a different kind of bird. It's not your usual clip-on bird. It's a different kind of bird. They're in good condition. The colors are good. They're not flaked off. And you want to be mindful of good color, because the inside of the glass ornament is washed with mercury, which flakes out. The outside is cold painted, which means it's not fired on, so it can easily flake on, especially if these were stored in attics that went from cold to hot temperatures. Again, unusual birds on the clip-on. Here's the typical one. Another one with glitter, but you'll notice this one has a spun glass tail. I told you the glitter identifies a newer ornament, and I showed you the other two had the feather tail and the tinsel streamer. This one has the spun glass tail, but it is a new ornament, and you can tell that by the glitter. And look at the clip-on. The clip-on is very shiny. It shows no evidence of wear. The bird below it and the bird above it are two of the most common bird ornaments that you will come across. These are the single bird clip-on, and they range in the area from $10 to $20. Again, depending on the size of the bird, the color of the bird, and the condition of the bird. Through the years, I've acquired probably around 225 of these, and we have enough that we can decorate the full tree with just birds. Makes a wonderful statement. People always are very impressed, and again, it's a fun collection. So if you're thinking of collecting Christmas ornaments, you can zero in on a type of Christmas ornament and literally decorate a whole tree with that one type. We've done it with the birds. You could do it with Santa Clauses. You could do it with figural ornaments, whatever. Anyway, this is a bird collection, antique Christmas ornaments. Hope you learned something and enjoyed it. We'll start Conversation 6 shortly, and that has to do with fakes and reproductions. Thank you.